Okay, hello, I'm Shotaro Asano. Thank you so much for listening to this podcast. This channel is a talk room where I share real, unfiltered conversations about career and learnings through conversations with guests I really want to talk to. So today's guest is Jieun. 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 Sorry. Right. Okay. Yeah. She's my classmate at Shizenkan, and we are often in the same group work, and we talk a lot. But I'd like to ask a lot of questions today to learn more. So, June, thank you for joining.
Thanks for having me.
All
Honored
right,
to be.
yeah, of course. So, I have a lot of list of questions today, but before that, maybe could you talk about your brief background, biography, and
Mhm.
your name again? Sorry. Yeah.
I was joking. I'm aware that
Yeah.
non-Korean speakers have a hard time pronouncing my name, though my name is one of the most popular girls' name in my generation.
Hmm.
Um, so it's Jieun. There's
June.
a
Yeah.
subtleties to it,
Hmm.
but yeah. So as I said, I'm from Korea, born and raised in Seoul, and after high school, I went to Hong Kong for university, where I studied art history and journalism. And just going back a little bit, since I was very little, I wanted to be an artist. I love drawing and painting, photography. So I actually proceeded to art school when I was in middle school.
Hmm.
So it was one of the happiest time in my life. I remember like drawing while my classmates, music major classmates, would be playing piano, violin. Like it just felt like I was living in a movie.
Hmm.
But I decided to not proceed to an art high school under the
Hmm.
same foundation, but decided to go to a very intense elite school called a foreign language high school in Korea.
Hmm.
And I majored in French there. And I basically wanted to be able to study in Paris, study art in
Hmm.
Paris.
Hmm.
And that was kind of like what my logic was when I decided to not proceed my art education through my secondary school. But one thing led to another. I found myself in university in Hong Kong, where I decided, well, now that don't have an option to be in art school, I might as well study art history, which is something that I enjoyed as a teenager as well, reading books about
Hmm.
art history. And then also in journalism, because I was surrounded by journalism major friends. And then my plan was to never return to Korea, but life never
Hmm.
goes that way. So I ended up back in Korea after graduating, and I started my career as a journalist in Korea.
Hmm. Hmm.
This was actually a great timing because our we had impeached our president, the first one we had impeached at the time. So there a lot of attention, international attention in our country. So there were a lot of stories to cover because I was working as a English speaking journalist, writing
Hmm.
articles in English. So yeah, it was a very exciting times. I was initially only going to stay in Korea for an internship, but I kind of find myself in a kind of interesting position where I felt like I didn't really understand the society that I was
Hmm.
from, even though I
Hmm.
was born and raised there. So I wanted to stay a bit, see where it takes me, and I've done a lot of random things in the meantime, and I eventually ended up at the presidential office in Korea,
Hmm.
and
Hmm.
I was essentially a social media person.
Hmm.
Yeah,
For
I did a
president
for
of
the
Korea.
president. Yes. The
Wow.
one that we elected after the one that we had impeached. Or
And
now that we have impeached two of our presidents, the one in
hmm.
between the two impeached presidents
Hmm. Hmm.
is the one that I work for.
And
So
what? How old were you back then when
oof,
you were working for president of Korea?
president, I was 20, 27.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Wow.
27. I was young.
Good experience. Yeah.
I was 27. Yeah. Yeah, I was one of probably the two 20-something-year-old
Hmm.
in the
Hmm.
presidential office at the time. There were
Wow.
mostly a lot of middle-aged men. And I
Yeah,
worked
I
there
can
over a
imagine.
year, and every day they would ask me, the security guards would ask me, "Where are you going?" because I
Hmm.
didn't look like I belonged there. So
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
it was a really difficult experience, but a very meaningful time as well, because it was also during COVID. So a
Hmm.
lot of
Hmm.
things
Oh.
were happening online, even between world leaders, because they could no longer fly to each other's country and have summits. And so, as someone who's quite multilingual, I was kind of given the task of kind of monitoring like G7 leaders' social
Hmm.
media
Hmm.
to see whether they're talking about anything. And I don't know if you remember, but Korea was one of the first places to have a big COVID outbreaks. So there was also
Hmm.
international
I
attention,
see.
but
I see.
that administration was also able to kind of really curve the spread really
Hmm.
quickly. So
Hmm.
a lot of world leaders, a lot of international media had attention on Korea. So there was a lot to deal with, which was really exciting now that I think about it. So yeah.
I see. Well, I already have a lot of questions. So can we go back a little bit about your high school and university days, maybe? And so your English is obviously much better than mine, and it sounds really native. But
Hmm.
you did not go outside of Seoul until university. Is that correct?
Yes. Yes and
Wow.
no, I would say. I would spend like summer
Hmm.
holiday at my aunt's place in New Zealand.
Hmm. I see. I
Uh,
see. I see.
I did that once when I was in elementary school.
Hmm.
And so I had this like periods of time where I was spending time outside of Korea, but never more than like a few months, because
Hmm.
my parents, I think, were very scared of sending my brother and I to too far away since when we were too young, because they
Hmm.
wanted us to stay a
Yeah.
family.
Of course. Yeah.
So, but
So you
I
started to learn English after graduating high school, maybe.
well, I mean, I had to speak and understand decent English to enter the high school that I
Ah, to enter high
went.
school. Wow.
Yeah,
I see.
because it
Hmm.
was a foreign language high school, and one of the
Hmm.
subjects I had to pass was English, and everyone spoke really good English. A lot of kids were lived in the States or
Hmm.
elsewhere because of their parents' jobs. So I did feel a bit insecure about my level of English there, but I think
Hmm. Hmm.
what really helped was the fact that I just truly loved the language itself.
Hmm.
So yeah, I think I was able to still be one of the top students when it comes to English in high school eventually, because I kind of didn't really care how I didn't have this time, like growing up in the States when I was
Hmm. Hmm.
little, or going to international school when I was younger and whatnot. So
I
yeah.
see. And you speak not only English but French and Spanish
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
and
I've forgotten.
Japanese. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I've forgotten a lot of French and Spanish to confidently say that I do speak, but I do
Hmm.
understand quite a big part of it. And I've been trying to brush up on my Spanish a little bit recently.
Hmm.
But yeah, it's so French was my major in high school.
Hmm.
And before going to university, because the academic schedule is a bit, the calendar is a bit different between Korea and Hong Kong. I had a few months in between my graduation and inauguration. So I went to Spain for about
Hmm.
3 months.
Hmm.
And
Barcelona. I read your student profile. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, I was in
And said yeah.
Barcelona.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you're in Barcelona. Yeah,
I lived
I've been there
all
a
my.
couple of times. Yeah,
Oh,
Barcelona is a very nice place.
very beautiful,
No,
but
yeah,
also a bit dodgy. It's just
really.
a lot of
Okay.
pickpockets and
Ah, yeah, yeah,
but
yeah.
I loved living there. I loved living there. So yeah, it's I love like learning languages, because it really kind of broadens people's
Mm-hmm.
perspective, and also it I can it enables me to communicate with people beyond the culture that I'm from, and I find it fascinating.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I can't agree more. Yeah, yeah. My next question. So you were um, you loved the painting or painting, drawing,
Painting, drawing,
and
yeah.
it, who was your like superstar artist back then or
Oof.
now?
Well, There's a few. I think when I was younger, I really liked Gustav Klimt because I think
Klimt. Yeah, yeah.
his
Mm,
painting has such a special power to it, and
mm,
especially when you see it in person. I remember when I was in middle school, I went to New York with my mom, and we spent the whole week just going to all the galleries and museums
mm,
um, because I wanted to. I've been reading about them for years, and I was just so excited to be in a city full of great art pieces. And the moment I still remember, I stood in front of. I think this was at MoMA,
mm,
one of Kliment's painting. Like I was just like speechless.
mm.
It was so
Which
beautiful.
one? Do you remember the name of the painting?
Honestly, I don't know the title.
But one in MoMA. Is
Uh,
that one with like lady holding man or?
the kiss is not in MoMA. It's in
Oh,
a
it's
different
not that. Okay. Hmm.
place. I think that was actually I did see that as well. I think
Hmm.
that's in Europe though. But yeah, it's one of the famous paintings of his. But I was in New York this year, actually, earlier this
Hmm.
year, and
Hmm.
I actually stumbled across. Maybe it was the one that I saw. Honestly, this was many, many years ago.
Hmm. Hmm.
But yeah, it was one of the really kind of unforgettable moments of my life.
Hmm.
But I also liked David Hockney. I don't know if you
David
know him.
Hockney. Hmm.
Yeah, it's a British painter who's still alive, still
Hmm.
very prolific. He has this very specific style that kind of makes you recognize that it's his artwork immediately, even though he has very different painting styles
Hmm.
throughout his career. And even though when he was in like 70s and 80s, he would incorporate new techniques and technology into his artwork. So, for
Hmm.
instance,
Hmm.
he was also already as a very very established painter. You will recognize one of his most famous one, which is like this plain um, painting of someone like diving into a swimming
Hmm.
pool.
I see.
He also started painting on iPad and made a whole
Ah,
series
okay.
about it. And yeah, it's a
Wow.
very very fun but playful painter that I really like.
I see. I'll definitely go check it after this
Please
recording.
do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice. Thank you. Wow. One more question I wanted to ask was, you mentioned you thought you would never go back to Korea uh, as a career wise. I think.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, is there any like reason for that, or did
Um,
you think international career was like really something great, or
I
which
think
I thought yeah, when I was young I was thinking like that, but yeah,
you thought the world was bigger and working outside of Japan had more opportunities out there.
right,
I think
yes,
that's very very true.
mm-hmm.
Um, and I think I thought of it less in terms of career, but more in terms of my happiness and
Mm-hmm.
where I would be happier. And I don't know why, but I was not very happy growing up in Korea. Not that I had an alternative to compare with, other than seeing like American TV shows
Mm-hmm.
and movies. And also, I was there were quite a bit of people around me who's lived in the States or abroad, so I would
Mm-hmm.
have heard their experience, and I was always very jealous.
I see.
And so I asked my parents a lot to either move to the States or to send me to States, and they didn't want to.
Mm-hmm.
And so when I was able to go to Hong Kong, which it also came with a lot of backlash within my family, unfortunately,
Mm-hmm.
um, I was really happy. I was really excited. And yeah, I thrived outside of Korea as well. I would make friends with people from everywhere, and this is as someone who's very introverted.
Hmm.
I was a lot more introverted than I am now because I think
Hmm.
now I'm
Really?
used to talking to people that because
Hmm.
like your face says like people don't believe that I'm an introvert because I've over the years I've honed this people skills to be able to chat with people that I've never met because
Hmm.
I was forced to kind of go to a new place or I forced myself to go to a new place and meet new people, make friends, and so I did it in Barcelona, I did it in Hong Kong, and I also spent a year in Australia when I was in uni doing study abroad. Did
Hmm.
that there as well. So, kind of, it's daunting, but it's also really exciting for me getting to know new people. So, I was able to do that very easily outside of Korea, but somehow it wasn't the easiest thing in Korea. I still
Hmm.
can't really pinpoint what the difference is, but
Hmm.
I just didn't feel like I belonged
Hmm.
to Korea. Yeah.
I see. Yeah, I can resonate. So I have a little bit of international background myself as well, and it, to me, it feels like getting out of comfort zone,
Mm.
and mm, and which feels good in some way. And living in Japan feels like, yeah, living with my grandmother, sort of. Feels very safe, but somewhat not very exciting. How I feel about Japan
Yeah.
compared to living in outside of Japan. But yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Because I think it's one gives comfort, but it also is a bit boring and
Hmm,
not as exciting. And
hmm, I see.
so,
And sorry, going back to your career about working for president of South Korea, and how did you get that job
well,
in the
what do you
first
want
place?
to ask me this question?
Huh? Is that a not a good question?
No, it's just I've been asked this question
So
over the
many
years
times.
so many
Okay.
times.
Yeah.
Um, I mean, I have different versions of answers to this,
Hmm.
but honestly, it's not as spectacular. So, um, I knew someone who became one of the like higher up more or less in
Hmm.
the presidential office
Hmm.
who I used to work with,
Hmm.
and because he knew I had a lot of multitude of talents, I call it very random set of skills, and I think he saw the potential to
Hmm.
potentially exploit me. So I got scouted basically.
I
Yeah,
see.
yeah,
And you were directing all the social
yeah.
media
Social media for the
communications, or
president, yeah, and
hmm.
also we had channels for the presidential office as well, which had a bit more freedom to do our
Hmm.
thing.
Hmm.
So I also directed and created videos for their YouTube channel, and yeah, I was essentially doing like five people job at some
Hmm.
point. Yeah,
Wow.
yeah,
Wow. I'm sure you saw lot of very confidential things as
definitely.
well. Yeah.
Yes, so definitely cannot say it here,
Yeah.
but
Yeah. Yeah. Great experience. Wow. That's great.
well,
And yeah, sorry.
that, that experience is eventually brought me to Japan as well. So,
Oh, how so?
well, I just got really burnt out and quit the job. Like by the time I was quitting, I've been there for like a year and 3 months,
Hmm.
and I said I'm gonna leave, and then I took a year off because I was really burnt out.
Hmm.
And even after a year, I couldn't see myself returning to a very Korean corporate
Hmm.
workplace.
Hmm.
So I decided to go to culinary school.
Hmm.
So I
Hmm.
learned Japanese and then moved to Japan. So,
Hmm.
you know, yeah.
What kind of cuisine were you focused on?
It covered everything from Japanese to Italian to French to Chinese and a bit of like pastry as well. But
Hmm.
the focus was mainly in like French and Japanese because that's what the school was known for.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
because I did come to Japan, I wanted to learn more about Japanese cuisine. So I took extra classes on Japanese cuisine, and I worked in Japanese restaurants in the kitchen
Hmm.
as well.
Hmm.
So yeah,
And it's been only 3 years
three
um,
years. Yeah,
since you first got here and started learning Japanese.
yeah. I
Wow.
had to pass a Japanese language exam before coming to apply for
Hmm.
the culinary school. So I
Hmm.
studied for about 2 months to pass
Hmm.
that exam, and then I moved here. Yeah,
Wow. Well, your Japanese sounds very natural.
thank you.
So, yeah, yeah,
Thank you.
amazing. You're such a fast learner.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think I
for sure.
do. I do have to admit, like language is one of my fortes. I'm good at
Mm,
it.
mm,
Yeah.
for sure, for sure. Wow. So, my next question will be, what brought you to Shizenkan? What was your connection with Shizenkan and motivation of enrollment?
Um. So this also came quite randomly to my life, and I feel
Mm-hmm.
like a lot of things in my life does. So I when I moved here, my mom introduced me to a son of one of her acquaintances, a Korean person, and so he would help me out, get kind of get used to living in Japan and asking many questions, and we'll go have lunch with him and his wife like every 3 months, 4 months. And I think like third or fourth time meeting him, he was like, "Oh, I'm starting a master's program, an MBA program." I was
Hmm.
like, 손난다, 미다.
Hmm.
And then I would see him every 3 months, and like he would say, like, "Oh my God, like my life is, it's so difficult. Like working full time and doing this program is so difficult." And like we'll sometimes like message each other when I had some just to like ask how he's doing. And so I essentially heard him kind of complaining about how difficult it is juggling work and school for 2 years.
Hmm.
And around April this year, I don't know why, I still don't know why, but I asked him, "So,
Hmm.
what is this program?"
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
he got really excited and he just invited me to one of the, I think, leadership nights.
Hmm.
And I got there and so I was reading a bit about the program and um, who's I don't even remember who the guest speaker was because I went to a lot at the time. I went to like almost every week for like 3 weeks in a row. Um, and but I felt like it's a place that I would really enjoy being in.
Hmm.
And like I didn't even think twice. Like I think that night
Hmm.
or the next day I sent my CV to Amano-san, and I think I had a business trip a week after when that was like the deadline. And I
Hmm.
remember it was a really tiring business trip because we went to shoot F1 in Mie.
Hmm.
So I went back to my hotel in Nagoya.
F1, the car racing F1.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, Suzuka. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we were staying in Nagoya, so we'd have to drive back like 3 hours. And I was back in the hotel, and I was writing like the application form. And so, yeah, that was kind of how I ended up in Shizenkan.
Hmm.
But I'm really glad. I really don't know why I suddenly asked him about the program, but I'm glad that I did, and I'm really happy that I ended up here because yeah, it's a very cool place to be with a lot of
Hmm.
very interesting people and very and the programs, the subjects that we learn are predominantly very thought provoking. I mean, I
Hmm.
think they're all very
Yeah.
thought provoking, very challenging at times. And there's definitely difficulty in juggling work and school. But yeah, I think that was the best decision I made this
Hmm.
year. Yeah.
All right. So your Korean friend of yours
Mhm.
is Shizenkan alumni, or
He
is
graduated this year.
okay? That means he's in batch seven. Not seven. Batch six. Sixth batch, maybe. But
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
he's in Shizenkan community. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Wow.
He's actually one of the graduates that came in on our second week. Remember, we had like five graduates,
Ah,
recent
yes,
graduates.
yes, yes, yes. Yeah, 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 yeah. Ah,
He's
okay,
one
okay.
of the, yeah.
Ah, he was there. Okay,
Mhm.
I see. Interesting. And so you applied in uh, June, July, or
This was
May?
April. This was
April.
April.
Okay, April.
Yeah.
I see.
What made you join Shizenkan?
Actually, so I have a mentor who had been coaching me for 2 years, every month, and she was involved in Shidenkan administration. Not
Mm-hmm.
not anymore. She used to,
Mm-hmm.
and and one day I was talking about a book I read. The book was written by the head of INSEAD, right? Or not INSEAD, IMD, which is a business school, I think. And his name is Takatsu, Naoshi Takatsu. And the book was about how Japanese culture is attracting global executive or things like that. And it's about like Zen, Aikido, Kado, flower artist things,
Mm-hmm.
and
Yeah.
Japanese sake, things like that. And I thought that book was very interesting. And
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Takatsu is actually one of the, I think, involved in Shizenkan as well as adjunct professor or something. And
Mm-hmm.
so that my coach said, well, I think it was initially a joke, but she would write a recommendation letter for me to apply to Shidenkan. And I looked at Shidenkan website, and I thought it was very interesting. And I think that was some kind of inspiration I needed at the time. And
Mm-hmm.
actually, that was like end of May. So just 1 week before, or just like 5 days before the deadline.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. You may be the last applicant in our
Yeah, I think
cohort.
so. Yeah, I think so. Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So that's my story, sort of.
Cool.
Yeah.
I always think life is really about timing.
Yes.
There's
Yes,
timings
I
to
agree.
things,
I agree.
you know.
Yeah, timing was like really like that for me.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
How
so, yeah.
experience? I wanted to ask. Sorry, I wanted to ask how
Mm,
has this experience been for you? Because you are running a company, you have a
yeah. Yeah.
family, kids, and you commute from very far to
Hmm.
school, and being able to do like seeing you, I cannot complain that I'm too busy. You know.
Oh, no, no, no. Well, everyone's juggling something. And yeah, for me, it's family, my work, and yeah, and study. But I think, especially this year, I needed some time to sit there and quietly reflect on myself and my career. So this is my 21st year working, I think.
Wow.
Yeah. So I've been working for 20 years. Yeah.
Wow.
And so a lot to reflect on. And so I think I really have a lot of experience in dots. So how I connect
Mm,
for the future is, I think, what I needed this year. But it's really tough to think that way while you're busy and you're working and have to expedite things, right?
yeah.
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 So like reading books and having a discussion with others and save some time for studying. It helped me think through, I think, and well, I'm still in that process right now, but yeah.
That's really cool. That reminds me of the company speech that you
Mm,
wrote.
mm,
I
mm,
think that
mm.
was really, really impressive and kind of, yeah, it left a mark in my mind because you had this inner journey throughout that like
Mm.
less than 2 months that we had that course, um and to kind of, I don't know, like you, it really felt genuine the way that you kind of reflected on how you've been seeing what company is for in the past, and especially from someone who's been working for a long time,
Mm-hmm.
to kind of, even to be able to kind of question or think again about what you've been strongly believing, and
Mm-hmm.
to adopt a very new concept or idea. I think that was, and admit to maybe the way you thought before was may not have been the right thing. I think that was, yeah,
Yeah.
that was a very, I really enjoyed that. So yeah.
Thank you so much. One thing being good about being old is that you have a lot of experience, which you can um, really yeah, reflect or in Japanese like ajiwao means like you taste sort
Yeah.
of,
Yeah.
yeah. And so at this age, so I used to read philosophers book like Kierkegaard and Hegel and those people. Back then I didn't understand anything, but now I maybe can relate a little bit more because I
Mm,
have more experience and I can connect that to what's on text and imagine. So
interesting.
yeah, so maybe reading books again at this age or when you get older might feel a little bit different, and
Mm,
that's a nice feeling, I think.
it's like I've lived this life fully enough that I've grown into someone that could understand a bit of what these philosophers have said. Type of,
Yeah,
yeah.
and I'm sure I understand only like 2 to 3% of those philosophers are trying to say, but yeah, at least yeah, it came from zero to 2 to 3%. So
Nice. Did you
yeah,
always read so many books? I feel like you own almost all books that our guest lecturers or professors have.
yeah, yeah. I like books. I sometimes say I my hobby is purchasing books, but so yeah, I purchase more book than I read. That I'm being honest.
I mean, it takes less time to purchase a book than to read a book, so
Yeah, these days, Amazon with help of Amazon. Yeah,
yeah.
yep. I know, I
Well,
know.
yeah.
Yeah.
I'm
So
also,
and I didn't have much time to read book when I was fully running a startup and doing work in my 20s and 30s. But I now have a little bit more time currently, and yeah, which is yeah, I enjoy it very much.
nice.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Speaking of which, so what is your book of the year so far?
Oof. Okay, book of the year so far.
Yeah.
So I read a few books this summer, thinking I probably won't have time to read leisurely when I start
Mm-hmm.
Shizenkan. Um, Out of that, there was this really short book called I Who Have Never Known Men.
Hmm.
It's a very short novel, kind of dystopian, sci-fi type of, and nothing real. I don't want to spoil, but nothing really happens until the end. But
Hmm.
for some reason, it's so captivating, and it makes you
Right.
think so much about everything.
What was the title again?
I Who Have Never Known Men.
I have never known man. I see.
Yeah,
Wow.
I think that is a title. This is written by like a Belgian or French. It was originally written in French,
Hmm.
um, many decades ago, and I don't think it was like a immediate hit, but it
Hmm.
somehow kind of re-entered the conversation in recent years,
Hmm.
and it's been very popular. I think I'm part of a book club with some of my friends, and this was one of the books,
Hmm.
and I enjoyed that. Um,
Okay.
yeah, I think that is
Nice.
the book of the year for me. Yeah.
Hmm. Nice.
What's the
Nice.
book of the year for you? I wanna,
Book of
because
the
you
year for
must
me.
have read. How many books have you read? Let's start from there.
Uh. Okay. Well, for this year, maybe So this is Japanese copy, but it's called the Almanack of Naval Ravikant. It is the name of the book. So this,
Okay.
yeah, the
Okay.
Almanack of Naval
Was it
Ravikant.
person? What is it?
So this Naval Ravikant is a guy from Silicon Valley, and he is angel investor, and he's the founder of this platform called Angel List, and
Okay.
it's like a list of companies, companies,
Mm-hmm.
and a matching platform of angel investors and startup. I think
Mm,
that does his initial business, and
okay.
so he's like a combination of startup, business guy and engineer and also philosopher, sort of.
Mm-hmm.
And he's very famous on X, tweeting about his like thought um, about like how to build wealth, how to build like happy life, and think you know calm and have a good life, things like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I really resonated his with his thoughts because I'm a much smaller version of him, sort of, in terms of like my career and interest.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and he's a lot of his thought comes from Buddhism,
Mm-hmm.
um, and yeah, I think as a Japanese, that is also one thing I can relate to. And what motivated me to think about more on philosophy and how to live a good life instead of pursuing like a cool career or
Mm-hmm.
cool outcome of like company success, things like that. So and he's actively speaking on like Joe Rogan's podcast, and he appears on those like famous podcasts as well.
Mm-hmm.
It's worth watching. I recommend it.
Thank you. I'll take a
Yeah,
look.
yeah.
Do you
So
usually read a lot of nonfiction and like philosophy?
I read the sci-fi, not the read, but the Audible. Oh, I forgot that. Project Hair Mary.
Project Hair Mary.
Project Hail Mary. I think
Oh,
they are now making movie with the famous actor that did La La Land.
Ryan Gosling.
Yes, yep, that's it.
Mm,
So
nice.
it's about like scientists going to save the world and going to outer space and had have first contact with ET, sort of
Mhm.
extraterrestrial life.
Yeah,
Yeah,
interesting.
it is. It is. Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
like,
yeah, that plot line itself is not like really attracting, but very scientific and very detailed
oh,
story. Yeah. So it's very something very unique. I haven't read anything like that before. So
mm, interesting. Okay, well,
yeah.
I'll put on my ever-growing reading list of books.
Yeah. I recommend Audible. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I have trouble concentrating.
Mm,
Yeah, I
okay.
keep having to go back because I kind of lose track of where
I
they
see. I
are or
see.
I get distracted. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So I talked this with Ahmed also, but so I'm a type of person who read book like 10, 15 books parallel at
Yeah.
the same time. So
Yeah.
you read book with like one by one. Is that how you read? Or
Growing up, I think I also did at least two books and tend to
hmm.
be fiction and nonfiction so that I use different part of my brain, I guess.
Hmm.
Not intentional in
Wow,
that way.
efficient.
Well, it wasn't intentional in that way, but I think I just enjoyed having that because, for
Hmm.
instance, if I'm reading two novels at the same time, maybe I'll mix up things. I don't know. So
Mm,
I
mm,
think
mm,
kind of naturally um, went into reading a fiction and nonfiction simultaneously. And I feel like I also get into a very different mode when I'm reading fiction and nonfiction. So
mm,
even
mm,
though they're under the same umbrella of reading, I feel like they're two very different activities. So I think that's what I tended to do when I was younger. And I actually, after watching or listening to your episode with Ahmed,
mm,
I told myself, okay, I should go back to leisurely reading because
mm,
it's not like I'm doing all the readings, required readings for Shizenkan anyways.
mm,
Because
mm,
I
mm.
always kind of like got really stressed that I'm not doing all the readings because I'm always so short on time, and I
Yeah, yeah,
felt
yeah.
really bad. But I think, and then I had all these books that I wanted to read that's just like um and getting dusty right now. And I'm like, it's something that I enjoy, and it's not like I watch
Mm,
Netflix or anything, so I might as well just take that time to
mm.
read a bit and enjoy life a little. So
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, yeah.
yeah,
Reading book is almost like meditation for me.
yeah,
It
yeah,
really calms me down.
yeah.
Yeah,
I love that.
and but
Do
if
you,
you watch like YouTube or Netflix, it's different.
yeah, exactly. I think
That doesn't calm me down.
your brain is not working, but very stimulated when you watch things.
Mm,
I feel like that's
mm,
how I end up feeling. So I deleted all my social media apps recently because they were
mm.
just draining so much of my time and energy. So yeah, I hope I can read a bit more of books outside of school materials. So yeah.
Right. Yeah. So let me ask you a question that you asked me. How do you feel about Shizenkan life so far? Past 3 months, 3 4 months.
34 months. Wow, time just flew by. I think after deciding to join, I was really scared.
Mm,
Um, and I'm a type of person who cannot be in one place the whole time, be it
mm,
like within a day or within a month or a year. Like I have to constantly be somewhere and do things, and which includes traveling.
mm,
And I was told by the alumni, the friend that who introduced me to the program, that
mm,
he's not even been to Korea in the
mm.
2 years that he's been at Shizuoka.
He was too
And that
busy.
really, yeah, I was so scared. I was like,
Uh,
wow, we just like bounded in Tokyo, in Japan. I won't be able to see my parents. And
mm,
so I took the liberty to travel a lot in the summer.
mm,
Um, and then I joined, and yes, it was really busy, but not really the way that I thought it would be. In a good way, I guess.
mm,
But I think the first 2 months was really, really, really challenging
mm.
because I felt so stupid.
Really?
And
Wow.
yeah, I was telling my friends and colleagues that I've not felt this stupid among people in a while. And I did know that it's a good thing to be surrounded by people who are smarter than me. So I did enjoy that. But at the same time, it made me also question like where I have been in recent years, to feel like I've never been stimulated or challenged in the way that Shizenkan and our classmates have been.
Mm,
Um, and I also am always very admirable of our classmates who are not native speakers. I'm also not native speaker, but I know that my English is pretty fluent, so it's easier for me to articulate my thoughts, or put things
mm,
into words, because I literally used to write for my living
yeah.
in English. So, and the content that we are taught are very difficult by
Mm,
itself, and
mm.
to learn that in a second language.
Yeah,
And
totally.
everyone working full time and doing the readings, and being able to understand the content of our classes, and ask very, you know, interesting questions, make comments. And it was very stimulating, and sometimes very kind of disheartening because I
Mm.
felt so, so, so stupid. Um,
Yeah,
But
asking good question is really hard, right?
yeah,
I I still don't know how to do that. and somebody like Suhas and who else ask a really good question every time. That's
yeah,
how I see.
I agree.
And
Yeah,
Nathan probably and
yeah,
Cole. And yeah, I can name many people. Yeah, I don't know how they do that.
yeah. Because in order
Uh,
to ask the right question, you have to also understand to
hmm,
begin with, and then
yeah.
have your own set of thoughts and ideas, and kind of merge that into a very interesting question.
Hmm,
So yeah, that was. But I think that only says how great our cohort is and how interesting and engaging and interesting the people we are kind of learning together with. So I'm very, very grateful
hmm,
because I could imagine the Shizenkan experience would be just completely different depending on what kind of classmates you have.
hmm,
So
yeah.
yeah.
Actually, I will be having Derek
Oh,
on this podcast.
no way.
I'll be yeah. We'll be doing recording like tomorrow,
Nice.
and I'm trying to. So I'm asking him, how he see our class compared to like other like seventh batch, sixth batch, fifth batch.
Interesting. I'm
Yeah,
excited to hear his thoughts.
his observation. Yeah.
Well, already excited about the next episode. So
All right. Yeah. Oh, and for the future, I mean, my next question will be about the future.
mhm.
And so I read your reflection paper, and you were mentioning about food justice and food waste and those issues.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I thought that was very interesting. And it was actually the first time discovering that you're interested in those issues.
Mhm.
So, do you after like 3 months, do you still have thoughts on that issue, or I think
I
because you were in the restaurant business, and you I think witnessed a lot of those food justice things.
mhm. I think fundamentally, I think food has is a very potent, powerful medium
Mm-hmm.
because I always say even those who don't like food has to eat to survive. And I think that's why food is such an attractive medium for me, and which is why I decided to go to culinary school. So at this point, and even the moment that I was writing the reflection paper, I kind of wanted to see the world through the lens of food and be able to identify different opportunities. And I think with climate change, with the climate crisis, um, food and water are going to be a very important kind of resources that will define life and death between people and countries. So I think that's why I mentioned that in the reflection paper, and that essentially also relates to food waste because I think a lot of developed countries are less aware of food waste because there's excess of food, and there's a lot you can do with the food waste itself, and also you can try to reduce it. So I think there are a lot of opportunities out there. So that is one or two kind of channels related to food that I'm interested in. At the same time, I'm also interested in how food can help connect people because that was my initial experience when I first moved to Hong Kong, where I was able to connect with friends from everywhere over a table of really good food. And we all somehow shared a similar type of story of like when I was little, my grandma made this dish and I would eat this. And so I was really fascinated by what food can do in when connecting people. So I'm still in the process of exploring what are the opportunities out there that I could tap into using food as a medium. And I'm really hoping to kind of be able to come up with something more concrete and realistic by the end of Shizenkan program, because we have to kind of come up with our own project. And so that's also why, because this has always been in the back of my head when I decided to go to culinary school, because a lot of people
Hmm.
are like, do you want to be a chef, do you want to be a restaurateur? And I'm like, that's not really my intention. And I ended up at a place where I wanted to develop a food related business, but not the typical type. But I never ran a business before, so I didn't know which direction to go or how to develop things. And I still don't know, but I'm hoping through this journey in Shizenkan and with advices from our
Hmm.
professors and whatnot, I'm hoping to kind of find my path a bit more clearer. So, so yeah.
Oh, I think you already have enough cards in your hands already. So yeah,
Yeah. Well, let's.
I think your journey will be very interesting and very impactful to the society, for sure.
I hope so. Thank you.
Yeah, yeah. Wow, nice.
Can I quickly ask you one thing? Are you planning to
Of
do
course.
a podcast episode on talking about your journey? Because as a host, you are more taking the role of someone asking questions, right?
Hmm.
And like,
Hmm.
so there's limitations to how much you can talk about yourself.
Hmm. Well, thank you for asking that. I briefly introduced myself in not on the YouTube, but on the Spotify. There's episode one, and introducing
Oh,
myself, talked about myself like 15 minutes or so.
okay. I
But
missed.
it's more like reading script, so I
Okay.
don't know
I think
if
it'd be
it's
more
a
interesting if it's like a
interesting thing.
conversational thing, like
Hmm.
what we're doing now. So, maybe the last episode will be you inviting someone from
Interview
the
me. Okay. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
the full circle.
Um, Please be the interviewer then.
I'd be happy
Yeah. Okay.
to.
Yeah, you're the journalist and media pro, I think.
That's true.
Yeah.
I ask a lot of
Yeah.
questions, sometimes too many. So yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you. Is there anything you would like to talk about? Well, since this probably podcast is distributed, but on Spotify and YouTube, but mainly I think our audience would be around Shizenkan,
Hmm.
English course, Japanese course, uh, admin staff, alumni people. Is
Hmm.
there anything you want to, I don't know, ask me or talk about? Or
Hmm. Interesting. But actually, I have a question I was going to ask you at the beginning. Sorry.
Mhm.
My mind's just darting
Please,
everywhere.
please, please, please.
So this is a question that my mentor told me this week or last week, because I sought career advice and like direction where I should go to,
Hmm.
and he said he asked himself a question of what he wants to achieve in his life,
Hmm.
and within that answer, he was able to kind of find the direction of his career path. So I wanted to know what you want to achieve in your life is.
Hmm. Hmm. So I think looking back to my past, I I think I had two things. One is I think I always wanted to be a father
Mhm.
to children, and well, I luckily became a father of 6 year old boy and 2.5 year old girl, and I enjoyed it very much. So that's okay. That's accomplished. And the other is, I think I wanted to like prove myself, sort of, to be like impactful to world. at some certain level. But now looking back at how I saw, it's more like concerned with other people's eyes too much
Mm,
and not really pursuing my deep motivation of how I want to spend time.
mm,
And but I think it's okay. I'm not denying my past. Like in your 20s and 30s, I think it's important to pursue your career and you know build something you can be proud of. I think
mm,
that, and earn money, and I think that's important. But when you get to 40s and maybe to 50s, I think it's not enough to keep you running.
mm,
I think at some point you get exhausted, and I think I'm sort of rebuilding myself right now.
mm.
I'm not sure if I'm answering your question directly or not, but to be honest, I have no idea what would really good answer would be for myself as well at the moment.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think we're constantly in search of the answer, and it's difficult to always have the same thing, unless it's like money. I've had people say
yeah,
money to the question, and I'm,
yeah. Following money is very clear,
yeah,
clear goal. It's like
exactly.
playing chess. Yeah,
Exactly. We know where
yeah,
you want to go.
yeah.
The path is very clear. And in that sense, I was very jealous of this type of people because there's no unclarity in their life. There's if they're at a crossroad and they have two options, it's so easy to make a decision because money is clearly written in numbers.
Hmm,
But at the same time, like part of it, I can't change the way I am. And also because I am the way I am, I know
hmm,
I have a more sometimes difficult life like this, but I think my life is much more colorful
hmm,
thanks to that. So yeah, I guess I need to also kind of, yeah, figure out, because I the only thing I was able to say to myself after asking myself the question was, I know this, it's not money,
hmm.
is something I could, how far I went. So, but definitely having a positive impact in the society is definitely one thing.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, one of my
Yeah,
friends was living a very good life from my perspective, said just enjoying life
hmm,
because life's so short, and she does really kind of live to the fullest. Like she's very climbing up her the social ladder in her company very very fast. She has a very loving group of friends. She's getting married next year to a very loving partner. And whenever something happens in society, she's the first one to be out there protesting or donating money. And so she doesn't hesitate to make these decisions because her rule of thumb is just life is short, so
hmm.
just live a little and just enjoy. Don't be too serious. So,
Yeah. I think that is really matches to what Rousseau wrote in Emile. Oh, sorry. Again, this is Japanese version, Japanese edition of Rousseau.
mhm.
But he wrote this.
Emil,
So what he's basically saying is being the best version of you first, then go to impactful version of you to the society as
yeah,
like second layer.
yeah,
I think that order is important. Is I think what Rousseau is saying basically. If that order is reversed, it's going to really stress you. But
yeah. I also don't think that works. I always think about this, when you're on a flight, they always instruct you to, like, if the what do you call this? The in case
mask.
of accident, the mask comes down, and if
Mm.
you're with someone that you have to take care of, make sure to put on the
Mm,
mask
mm,
yourself
mm.
first, and then
Yeah,
put the mask on the other person. And I
Yes.
think that's such a powerful symbol of like you have to be okay yourself to be able to
Hmm.
help others.
Yeah.
And I think that was always in my mind when I was unhappy, for instance. I was obsessed with the idea of being happy myself because I wanted people around me to be happy, but if I wasn't happy, I wouldn't be able to make other people surrounding me happy.
Hmm.
So yeah, I think that goes in line with what Rousseau said in Emile. So yeah.
All right. Yeah. Sounds like Shizenkan discussion. No? You're
Yeah.
talking about Rousseau?
Yeah. That was a good one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like
Can I
it.
ask you another question?
Yes, please.
You said you wanted to be a father.
Hmm.
How did your life change when you had your children or your first child?
At first, I think when the uh, kids are really baby, it really didn't change much. But when they get like 3 year old, 4 year old, and I got involved more as a like father and children like communication through like language, then that I think changed me a little bit. So they don't listen to me, basically. Uh, so in my family, my wife, my two children, nobody listened to me. So that's like default for me, right? So which sounds hard, but it's okay with me now. But that changes something, right?
I'm sure.
No, when you're single, you can control everything
Yes.
around you because
Yes.
yeah, it's easy. Nothing is easy now, and that is like being natural to me now. So I
So
think I became more kind to people. I think and pay more attention to others. Maybe yeah.
okay.
I became less selfish for sure.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
The did you did you know this was what you were signing up for when you
No,
decided to be a father?
no. But I saw my parents raising us, and well, I have a sister, and so but yeah, they looked happy. So I was anticipating maybe I'll be happy as well.
Hmm.
But that happiness is supported by everyday's effort, of course, and that effort part is very, very not easy, but I enjoy it. I enjoy it overall. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure. I mean, I'm sure it's really, really difficult. It's so admirable that people can be parents. And I do think about how my parents were younger when they had me and my brother,
Hmm.
and being able to raise children while working. And I don't think I don't think I behaved very well as a child. I was probably like your daughter.
Yeah.
So
That's kids. Yeah, I think all kids are like that. I think
yeah,
basically.
yeah.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
my brother actually was a very mature child.
Hmm.
So I think it was easier, but I was a very difficult child, I was told. So yeah, I just cannot picture myself being a mom. It's just even taking care of myself is handful. So,
Hmm.
you know.
I think you'll be okay. I think you'll be okay. Yeah, yeah, for sure.
Well,
Yeah,
yeah. Wow. So you didn't
yeah.
really have the moment of like when your daughter was first born or your son was first born. You
Hmm.
weren't like, wow, that's my baby. I'm a father. You didn't have that life changing experience of some sort.
Hmm. It wasn't like wow, I was shocked or like like lightning shock type of thing. It wasn't. Maybe for women, I think it would be like that, but for men, changes gradually happen. I think,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, because men are not physically
That,
changed or
yeah,
affected, right? So
makes sense.
socially very affected, of
Yeah,
course, but
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. I guess with time, I think I you're a good father who's always prioritizing your family, and as we're in the same group, we've asked you out for drinks, and you've always kindly declined, saying you have to prioritize your family.
Yeah, sorry for that. Yeah, because
And
my time with kids are like really limited. Maybe I only have less than 10 years,
of course,
spending time with them. So
yeah.
yeah.
No, I think it's so precious, and I think that's so great because I don't think my dad was really around when I was young,
Mm,
but he came back to the picture. He was working far away from home, so I could
mm,
not really see him. He would come home when I was asleep, and he would leave when I was asleep. And
mm,
but then in middle school, because I went to art school, which was on the way to his workplace, we would spend like hour and a half, 2 hours every morning in a car because there was a lot of traffic jam, and
mm,
we would listen to a radio together and like share breakfast in the car together. And I think that
mm.
created this really bonding moment. And my mom is still jealous of how me and my dad is really close. So yeah,
Nice.
I'm really grateful for what my parents have given me, for a lot of different things. But this love and affection they've given me, I'm really really grateful for, because that gives me a lot of kind of emotional support and courage, and especially when I'm living far away and by myself, because it
Mm,
could be really lonely, and sometimes I could feel like I'm here by myself, and that it might take days for someone to realize that if I die suddenly today here, and because I live by myself, like maybe it will
mm,
take days for people to notice. Um but yeah, I think it's great that there's this like familial bond, that and the love you're giving as a father. So because you also moved out far away from Shibuya so that you could give your children a better place to grow up in, right? So
yeah.
yeah,
Well.
I think this I seeing people from very different situations in life, or point in life, or backgrounds as Shizenkan, I think is also
Mm,
part of the
yeah.
learning experience. Um, and because I'm predominantly just surrounded by people similar to me, like
Mm,
single, living alone, mostly away from their hometown, and
mm,
so there are similarities that we can connect to each other with, but also there are limitations to like how we see the world and engage with the world, navigate through the world. So
mm,
yeah,
mm.
so I can never ask my friends like, so how is it like being a father? None of my
Yeah.
friends are fathers or mothers. So yeah,
Yeah. You're always welcome to ask me those kind of questions. Yeah. So
thank you.
yeah, I will at least give an honest answer.
I
Yeah.
appreciate that.
Yeah. Yeah. Might not be a best answer, but honest answer. Yes.
But I think more people should know about what fatherhood or parenthood is before having
Hmm.
children. Yeah, I think that will
Yeah.
make the world a better
Maybe.
place.
So let me ask you my last question, or like if you have any suggestion, recommendation of the guest of this
Yes,
podcast,
yes,
I'd like to hear those names.
yes. I did think about this after hearing you ask, Ahmed.
Hmm.
Um,
Thank you.
I have two people. One is Arwa.
Ara. Yep. Hmm.
Arwa. Um, I think she's one of those people who ask really interesting questions in class, and
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
really,
Yeah.
really,
Yeah. Definitely. Definitely. Yes. Hmm.
yeah. And she also has a very interesting background as well. So I want to hear more about her.
All right.
And
Okay.
also Suhas.
So
Your
yeah.
fellow Indian classmate. I think Suhas is also
Hmm.
a very interesting person. Makes very sharp questions, very intriguing points.
All right. Okay. Definitely, I'll go to both of them. Ask
Yeah.
to be on this show. Yeah. All right.
Awesome.
Thank
All right.
you.
Thank you
Thank you
so
so
much for
much.
having me. Yeah.
Yep. Okay. And so, to the audience, well, thank you for listening. Please send me a feedback through Spotify or any media, or at the classroom, of course. And please hit that follow or subscribe button to become a member of this talk room. Yeah, please. I I think at this moment I have three follow, three five follows, three four follows. People, not enough, definitely. So please follow.
On
Thank you.
Spotify or on YouTube?
It's on Spotify and YouTube.
Okay. I'll give it a follow on YouTube. I'm no longer on Spotify, so.
Right. Thank you so much.
All right. Thanks. Thanks for having
Okay.
me.
Thank you.
All
Thank
right.
you.
Bye. Have a
Right.
good night.
Okay. Good night. Thank you.